what are the Raiders doing?
They have no idea. Skip Bayless, when you draft a player, regardless of position, you hope that player turns out to do what Khalil Mack did. Regardless of his position, all you can do is hope. Man, I hope the guy that we scouted on tape, that we saw at the combine, that we have in our building now, I really hope we hit this out of the park. Skip, they got a great player. The guy had 15.5 sacks his second year. He's Defensive Player of the Year his third year, and he has 10.5 sacks his fourth year. What kind of price did you think it was going to take to sign him? And this is what I get. Jon Gruden says the price for Khalil Mack, it got too expensive, said, the price was just too high. Where's the awareness, Jon Gruden? You got more guaranteed money than Khalil Mack did. Your contract is $100 million, fully guaranteed. Khalil Mack got $90 million. Was that too? So let me tell you why you can't sign Khalil Mack. When you pay a coach that's been away from the game, Jenny, for 10 years and you give him $100 million, Skip, I say you're worth what someone's willing to pay.
But Jon Gruden doesn't fit under the cap.
No. But here's the thing, what you do have to do. When you guarantee a contract, you immediately must put that money in escrow. So if you guarantee somebody like the Los Angeles Rams, they guaranteed Aaron Donald, $80 million, that goes in escrow.
So are you saying the Raiders just couldn't afford Khalil Mack?
They're cash strapped. They're not like the Rams.
I don't see that.
Skip.
I don't see it.
Stan Kroenke's worth $8 billion. How much you think Mark Davis is worth?
Well, he's moving to Las Vegas. He's going to be worth a lot more.
He's not there yet. And see, the difference is, Skip, when you relocate.
Well, then this isn't Gruden's fault, right?
Of course it is. He has final say.
Yeah. So, but you're saying they don't have enough, the owner just simply doesn't have enough money to pay him?
No, Skip. I'm saying is that this is what normally what people do. Yeah. If something's coming down the line and okay, I want a house in 3 years. You don't wait till the 3 years up and like, okay, I want that house. You start making modifications. You start doing things to structure you, to put you along that path where you can get that house in 3 to 4 years. Khalil Mack in his second year has 15.5 sacks. The third year, he's Defensive Player of the Year. How much do you think it's going to sign? How much is it going to cost you? So basically, you're saying the only people we're going to play Derek Carr and we're going to pay Amari Cooper. Defense, the hell with you.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the way they're going. Skip, you and I both know Jon Gruden had everything. Skip, you don't get $10 million a year without having final say. Who is Jon Gruden kidding?
No, I agree with that. But listen, Mark Davis has got endless money. However, any NFL owner does. You got collateral. Your team's worth $1 billion, so you can go get a loan if you have to.
Yeah.
And by the way, his signing bonus, Khalil Mack's, but it was less than Aaron Donald's. So it wasn't,
no, it was more.
No, the signing bonus was a little less, but the guaranteed was more. I thought 90.
I thought Khalil got $60 million.
He had a little less, but he had more overall guaranteed. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
It just sends a terrible message, Skip, because you're punishing Khalil Mack for outperforming, for being better than what you originally thought he was going to be. The guy outperformed the contract. You have to pay. You have to compensate for it. He's 35% of, and it didn't equate, Skip. If you look at Khalil Mack numbers, they still was a team that didn't generate a whole lot of pass rush. But he's 35% responsible for the sacks that they did create.
Yep.
And he's gone now. So this is what we know. Those 2 first-round picks you got, one of them better turn out to be Khalil Mack.
He will not.
Well,
he just will not. The odds are stacked way against
you. Yep. Well, if that's the case, Skip, they made a huge mistake because, like I said, they have trouble getting to the quarterback as it is with Khalil Mack.
Yep.
Now that he's been removed from the equation, how vaunted will their pass rush be? How good will their defense be without Khalil?
I agree. So, as you know, I love me some Jon Gruden, but I hated me some Khalil Mack trade because I've never seen anything this dumb before. It's incomprehensibly stupid and foolish and short-sighted to let go of a very popular locker room leader, because that's what Khalil Mack was to this team, in return for draft picks that will never stack up to what he is. It's just the odds. Again, could you hit the lottery with one? I guess you could, but I'm willing to bet against this right here, right now. So I loved it that Mark Davis went out and brought back Jon Gruden, but that move just got undercut and maybe even completely disqualified by making this trade that will wreck Jon Gruden's first season. It is now definitely disqualified because that locker room is going to be in psychological shambles over this. You saw the early tweets from the quarterback and the other pass rusher. They were not happy, and they shouldn't. And Derek
No
Carr
bleeping way.
Yeah, no bleeping way. And I think Derek Carr was just no way. It was his first tweet. And then both of them reversed field and said, yeah, but we got to get ready. We got to go onward and upward, which is what you would say at that point, too, because you have to. But the first two tweets are the gold tweets. They're the ones that came straight from the heart and the gut and the soul, because they said exactly what the rest of the world is saying. No way.
No way.
You did that? And I hate to say this about my guy, Jon Gruden, and I know him well, but this smacked of what I call Baker Mayfield syndrome, because you cannot convince me that Hugh Jackson and John Dorsey are not trying to just keep Baker Mayfield on ice for a year to buy a year of fan patience more before the clock starts on them next year when Baker Mayfield actually gets to see the football field. This is the same thing. I think Jon Gruden is making so much money that he started getting cold feet about having to make miracles in year number one with the Oakland Raiders, because a lot of people are saying, we're back, here we come. And all of a sudden, by making this trade, he's forcing many in Raider Nation to sit back and say, oh, well, I guess we got to wait, 2-3 years to see how these draft picks turn out? Maybe John thinks it's taking a little heat off, giving him, buying him a little more time to rebuild.
Turn the heat up, Skip.
Yeah, but hey, rebuild. They went out and made a bunch of little veteran moves to win now. Remember, we had Rob Ryan, our coach, on, and he just raved. And he says people are underestimating how many nice little moves and bringing in veterans that Jon Gruden has pulled off.
Right.
Well, that just got disqualified, didn't it? You just lost your, talk about veteran pass rushers.
It seems like the moves they made, Skip, was all offensively generated. You get Jordy Nelson, you pair him with Amari Cooper. They bring beast mode back. They get a left tackle. They put Penn to right tackle.
They did.
It seems like everything is catered to Jon Gruden, because remember, Skip, when he was in Tampa, that defense really, Monty Kiffin, took care of itself. You got Hall of Famer Warren Sapp. You got Hall of Famer Derek Brooks. You got Hall of Fame on the ballot John Lynch, Simeon Rice. So
I don't know.
That's not what you have in Oakland.
You have none of that. You had a little of that in this guy, because he's a lot.
Skip, this dude is for real.
By the way, Pro Football Focus, I saw the stat last night. Over the last 2 years, Khalil Mack has 175 sacks, quarterback hits, and quarterback hurries. That's 13 more than the second best over the last 2 years, your guy Von Miller. Okay, so that just shows you. That's why I made the case. I don't think you were here, Jenny, but it was one of the days you were gone. That I made the case. I make Khalil Mack, remember when I told you and Rob, a little more valuable than Aaron Donald, just because he's an edge rusher. And off the edge, you can wreak a little more havoc than you can wreak from inside. Not that he's not a valuable anchor, and sometimes he can blow up the middle of the pocket and push it back into the quarterback. But this guy, in the fourth quarter of games, he can just take the whole game over, because all of a sudden you can try to chip block him or do whatever you want to do, and he's still going to beat the double team and get to the quarterback.
Skip, you remember what was it, about 3 years ago he had his coming out party? They needed this game, and they went to Denver, and he put up that 5-sack performance against the Broncos, and that's like, okay, Khalil Mack has arrived. Skip, it just, for me, and when you look at this, if someone wants to say, well, why would they give, and I can agree, Skip, if they say, well, man, why would you give Odell? You see he have immaturity issues on the field. You see some of the things he's done off the field. Okay, Khalil Mack has been great on the field.
This is a wiser move, because he's a leader.
He's been exemplary off the field. No red flags, no anything. And you do this? Skip, this makes no sense to me. Now, Jon Gruden basically say, hey, look here, they're my team. I'm in charge here. I got the big office. I'm the big guy, so this is where I'm going to say, because it's been reported that Reggie McKenzie was not on board with it. Skip, I'd be shocked if Reggie stayed
John said in his thing that they were all on board, but whatever. But I agree. It was reported. By the way, I can't defend Reggie McKenzie because of his last 50 draft picks, only 11 are left on the roster, so he hasn't done a great job of doing that.
But he hit it out of the park with this one.
Okay, with this one, he hit it out of the park. And so what gets me about this one is how they played it or didn't play it, because, again, if you knew for sure you couldn't pay this guy, like he's just in another world, and you just think, or maybe you decide, because there are games when his motor doesn't run as hot as I would like to see it. If old school Jon Gruden walked in the door and looked at the tape and said, you know what, he's not worth that much money, well, then do it before
Do it in the draft.
April's draft. You know,
Right.
make it, because you could auction them off and probably get this much,
Right.
and then you'd have those 2 picks or 3 or 4 picks,
Right.
and you could use them boom, boom, boom that night, and
Right.
they'd all be rookies, and you could be saying, well, at least you got so-and-so and so-and-so, right?
Correct.
Okay, so if you wait until September 1st, why wouldn't you wait until September 6th? Why wouldn't you just wait a few more days? Because he tweeted last Thursday, Khalil Mack did, I miss it. Well, you know how the football player's mentality this time of year, if you're a holdout,
You're right.
what starts happening? You start
Get
getting the
antsy.
itch, man. You start saying, okay, yeah, I want this money, but I want to play. Why is there a CBA that's in place right now? Because all the players just finally said, we just
They
want to
caved.
play.
Yep.
You know, they want their checks, but they just want to play football, and I don't blame them. I love that. That's why I love this game. So Khalil Mack is saying, I miss it. Well, what if you waited until next, I don't know, Thursday or Friday? You think he might report?
Well, I think the thing was, Skip, once Aaron Donald got that payday, he
All
wasn't
right.
coming.
Well-
because Aaron Donald was Defensive Player of the Year. He's Defensive Player of the Year
what
before.
if you just stonewall him? What if you play Cold War with him? What if you just say, we have him on his 5th year of his rookie deal, so he's going to make, $13.9 million. And we have the franchise tag in our back pocket for next year, right?
Right.
So what if we just wait? What if he misses the first 2 games? How long would Khalil Mack just sit? I don't know. What if Khalil Mack finally threw up his hands and said, they got me. I got to come in.
He strikes me as a guy that's very thoughtful, and I'm sure his agent prepared him for this day, and this is why he did it the way he did. He says, let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip Bayless, I come in for my 5th year.
Yep.
Guess what they're going to do in year 6? Franchise me.
They
Guess
would.
what they're going to do in year 7? Franchise me.
Okay, are you willing to sit that long? I mean, they still have your rights belong to Jon Gruden, right?
And so he played it the best way he knew how. If you are a top player, the only leverage you have is your service. And when you're really good like an Aaron Donald, when you're really good like a Khalil Mack, put that thing on ice. You know early on, Skip, you know what? I'm pretty good.
Yep.
And down the road, this thing, I'm gonna be in line to make some serious money. So you start making plans, because I might have to sit this thing down for 6 months. I might sit out the entire season to prove my point and to get the money that I deserve.
It's rare that has happened. It's rare.
Yeah, Sean Gilbert did it. But see,
Emmitt Smith lasted 2 games, remember?
and Jerry Kay when he went 0-2.
And by the way, they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And the thing, but here's the thing. This is what we know, Skip. They're the only position that really never has to haggle or scream and kick about their money is the quarterback. Everybody else, they got to make up a stink. They got to threaten to hold out. Aaron Rodgers says, oh, it's going to get done. You know, there's no timeline, and boom, boom. Kirk Cousins got $84 million. Andrew Luck got $87 million.
Yep.
Matthew Stafford gets his money. Matt Ryan gets his money. The quarterback position is the only one that does not have to haggle about their money. Everybody else has to threaten in order to get their money. But, Skip, this deal makes no sense to me. Because if you watch Khalil Mack, Skip, he really has no weakness. He plays the run exceptionally well. Can set the edge, can take on tackles. He can pass rush. Now, he's more of a buller than, say, Vaughn. He's not as nimble, as Gumby-like, bendy, like a Von Miller. But, boy, he's equally disruptive.
He is.
He can flat out play.